Welcome back to the Investor Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Pesavento. And today we finish off our three-part series with the third segment of a great group coaching session with one of my coaches, mentors, and friends, Trevor McGregor. We dive into topics about the importance of coaching, about how to go and find a great coach, about some of the habits that you can execute right now that are going to make a huge difference, and much more. If you haven't listened to the first two parts, I highly encourage you to scroll back up, find those episodes, and take a listen, or just dive right in because there's so much juice ready for you to squeeze out of this episode. So without further ado, let's head right over to it. This is the Investor Mindset Podcast. Let me ask you something. Are you hitting success yet you know that there's another level? Or perhaps you're just getting started. You're trying to put all these pieces together, get your first deal, but something's holding you back. Or maybe you're going through a big change in your career and your life, but for some reason you just can't take the steps you need to know in order to move forward. Well, I've been having a lot of really incredible conversations with people who are in the exact same position as you are, and they've been able to make massive change happen very quickly. Whether that's doubling your income within just a few months, whether that's making some kind of big shift in your life and really unlocking that vision, or perhaps it's just getting clear on what that vision needs to be so that you can really take those steps. Of course, you guys know me, host of the Investor Mindset here, Stephen Pesavento, and high performance coach. I've been working with clients for years, seeing and helping them see major results. And I'd love to set up a call to discover if it's possible to be able to help you with some of those same things. If you are in a position where you want more and you're committed to taking some steps to get there, then I encourage you to head over to investormindset.com/discover and let me know a little bit more information about you. Set up a call and we'll jump on and we'll walk through a discovery process. Totally complimentary. You'll walk away with a lot of clarity. And if there's some way that I can help serve you, I'll let you know that too. So you can just head over to investormindset.com/discover. And I look forward to seeing you there. Yeah, no, it definitely does, because at the end of the day, it's being able to recognize some of the benefits that actually come along with coaching. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions about it. Maybe we can address some of those, because I know when I was first getting into real estate, I had this misconception that, kind of following the bigger pockets logic that they talked about a lot early on, that any kind of coaching, any kind of real estate education is a scam. And I really believed that when I first started, and I was super afraid of spending money. I actually looked down on people who spent money on education. And then what really transformed it for me was that I knew I needed to make some rapid change, that I wanted to learn some of these things, and that I was trading time for knowledge, but I wanted to speed up the process. And then, that first year I went from 0 to 75. I got a personal development coach actually through the Tony Robbins organization, which is where you were trained. And that made it revolutionarily changed my life. But I'd love it if you could touch on some of those common misconceptions that people have about coaching, and really, like, what is the benefit that somebody gets? And I'm happy to add some color to that as well.
Well, Stephen, you're a phenomenal coach in your own right. And I think that we sing from a very similar song sheet. But at the end of the day, you just got to remember that a coach is not there, to tell you what to do. A coach is truly there to enroll, to engage, to inspire you, to really step into the highest and best version of you so that you can go after your goals and dreams. I mean, I talk about the 5 freedoms all the time because most of my clients want to work towards number 1, financial freedom. That's one of the big drivers that real estate offers. Number 2, time freedom, right? So if we could get your financial freedom and we can help you achieve time freedom, that's going to help you with number 3, and that's geographical freedom. Yeah, now you get to go out there because you've got financial freedom and time freedom and travel again this beautiful blue planet that we call Earth. But wait, there's 2 more, because once you get your financial freedom, your time freedom, and your geographical freedom, now you get number 4, which is the freedom to impact humanity. That is, you can literally take some of your time and money and travel and literally go out there and help people with organizations or worthy causes or charities that you truly believe in. And so that's something that I love to help people do. And then at the 5th level, number 5, it's really what I call freedom from relationships. not freedom of relationships, but freedom from relationships where you don't have to hang around people that pull you down. You don't have to hang out in, places that don't inspire you. You let to go hang out with the Stephen Pesaventos of the world, right? Or the KKs of the world, or the Joe Fairlesses, or the Trevor McGregors, because I'm here to tell you that, you do tend to think and vibrate, at the level of the people you surround yourself with. So as a coach, I'm here to get rid of any limiting beliefs that would prevent you from moving to those 5 things. I'm here to help you plan strategically on how to go from where you are to where you want to be. I'm here to help you create systems for support. That is, once we get rid of your limiting beliefs and once we create the plan of action, we got to create systems that support you executing it on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. Number 4 that I help people with a lot, Steve, and you know this, is they have poor time management. They end up doing busy tasks instead of working on the stuff that really matters, right? I'm here to show them what are the high impact, high income opportunities that they're missing out on. And once we do that, number 5 is really, we're here as coaches to hold people accountable, because we know that the path of least resistance kicks in and they find themselves sitting on the couch watching Netflix rather than going out there and driving markets. Well, not on my watch. We're going to work hard, we're going to play hard, and we're going to find a balance, because I found that a lot of people say, I just don't have the work-life balance, as if they're separate, right? I want to work this much and I want to play this much. I think that model's broken, Stephen, where, the world has sped up so fast. I think there is some crossover, and we help people play at the highest level in both modalities. But ultimately, that's what coaches do. And that's why Joe Fairless keeps me around, and, a lot of the people in our tribe, because they know that, they're better off having their secret weapon in their back pocket than not. Does that make sense?
It really does. And just to add a little bit there, it's like this idea of coaching really helps people pull out the best parts of themselves consistently, because, even somebody like myself or yourself, who is constantly investing in personal development, education, and learning, and continuing to fill our mind with the right ways of thought, that sometimes we can't self-identify or self-diagnose a thought that isn't serving us. Right. Every single week when I'm working with my coach, or, every opportunity that I have to get coached with amazing people like you, it's amazing, because when I hear myself answering a question, I had the solution in me the entire time, but the coach was able to pull it out and help me get clarity so that I could then move forward towards that end goal that I actually wanted. And sometimes it's so simple, and sometimes it's super frustrating, and it makes me upset and annoyed. And I'm like, why are we talking about these things? This feels like a waste of time. And then all of a sudden there's a moment, and it's that moment where you realize, like, man, it makes sense. I had never thought about it like that, or I hadn't thought about it like that since the last time that I had that thought. And man, I need to start living this way. And it's so cool when that happens. And so I just want to share that experience with people. If they haven't had the opportunity to have one-on-one coaching or even group coaching, that's one of the things you can end up leaving with, is not only leaving inspired like you will after listening to today's session, but being able to identify some of those specific thoughts or beliefs, those things that are going through your head, so that you can move forward through the accountability towards the things that you're really shooting for.
I love that, Stephen. You're spot on. And again, I believe that the world is sped up so fast that you're actually penalizing yourself if you don't have a coach, a teacher, a mentor, a trainer, a facilitator, or even an accountability partner, because we wear so many different hats today. We've got so much coming at us. It would be very silly for most people to go through life trying to navigate it on their own, when they could leverage, somebody like you, somebody like me, somebody that is literally defiantly committed to doing their life's work like this. And again, I can assure you that not all coaches are created equal, right? There are some people out there that call themselves coaches. There's people out there that have real estate programs, and, all they have is dollar signs, in their eyes. Those aren't the type of people you want to work with. You want to find heart-centered coaches, people like Stephen, people like Trevor, who are going to take an interest in you in real estate, outside of real estate. We know what your spouse's name is, your kid's name is, when your birthdays are, what your favorite flavor of ice cream is, and it's just a hell of a lot of fun. Does that make sense?
It really does. And so as we're getting close to wrapping up here, we still have some phenomenal questions. But what I'd love to understand is you're a coach that invests a ton of time into all the things we talked about, into investing yourself, into learning. So what I'm curious is, how do you elevate yourself as a coach? And how can others kind of follow in some of those footsteps by learning from some of the same resources or same habits that you end up doing yourself?
Well, it's a great question. And I believe that, I'm a lifelong learner. So again, just like Tony Robbins is committed to being a lifelong learner, I don't just talk the talk, I walk the walk. In fact, I have two coaches, right? Plus an accountability partner that kicks my ass regularly. One of my coaches is in California. One of my coaches is in New Zealand. And my accountability partner is in Seattle, Washington. So I get on the phone or on Zoom with them regularly, and they kick my ass around the block, just like I kick other people's ass around the block, because, I've got scotomas, and a scotoma is a word for a blind spot. Or I've got a limiting belief that maybe I'm getting too old for this, or maybe, this isn't going to work the way it did in the, 1990s or 2000s. And so coaches are really there to give you perspective and literally co-create what you want, why you want it, what you need to do to go get it, and then they hold you accountable to it. So I wouldn't have achieved this phenomenal level of success, Stephen, if I didn't invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into my personal growth journey over the years. Plus, hanging out with Tony Robbins for half a decade was pretty cool too.
That definitely helps speed things up, getting to learn from the master himself. What are some of the resources, the things that you read or listen to? How do you kind of keep that mindset, that good stuff coming in? And I know you're going to talk about some classics, but hearing them again, I think will be powerful for people.
Well, I think it's a great question. And I don't just read, great books, and I go back and reread some of the classics regularly. But honestly, my favorite things are podcasts. I learn on podcasts weekly, right? I'm always got a pen and a paper going, and my office sometimes has all of this, capture. I call it capturing, where then I'll go back and I'll kind of take all of the notes and I'll put it into a beautiful coil notebook, or I'll type up a Word document. So books, podcasts. I'm part of, very high level masterminds with Dr. Vikram Raya and Dr. Ravi Gupta. It's called the Infinite Eight, and it's 8 very high level real estate investors and family people, married kids. We do a lot of charity work. So I recommend a lot of people check out masterminds. I believe they're the next big thing. Watch how masterminds grow in leaps and bounds. I'm often found at virtual events. Last week at Todd Dexheimer's event, got Dan Hanford's event coming up, and then I'm keynoting at Joe Fairless's event. So again, whether I'm participating in them as a student or I'm on stage or on the virtual stage speaking, I'm telling you, I always learn stuff at those events as well. So, those are probably some of my tried and true things, but I also love to travel. And again, my wife, Lisa, and I, we get on a plane, and go to all 4 corners of this earth at least 2 to 3 times a year. Now, COVID's kind of put a damper on that, but ultimately, once COVID lifts, we're defiantly committed to getting back out. And again, experiencing things in true fashion and in true form, because I don't think there's anything greater than travel to give you life perspective and experience perspectives so that you can apply it in your own life anytime, anywhere, any place.
Yeah. That's I love that. I can definitely appreciate it. So tell me, what are some of the important factors that somebody should consider? This is a question from the audience here, when choosing a coach.
Well, again, you want to find somebody that has already done what it is you're trying to do, right? Because we think about the word mastery, and mastery means something like, with Bruce Lee, the guy literally performed the same kick or the same punch 10,000 times until he mastered it. Well, guys that have literally put in a ton of deals, they've bought property, they've, sold property, they've run the asset. Try to find somebody that's already done what it is you're trying to do in whatever asset class you're playing in. And then you also have to find somebody that you're compatible with. Some coaches out there don't really tell you to do anything than how many calls did you make? How many yellow signs did you put up? How many direct mail did you send out? Okay, go do it again. And the call's over. That's not coaching, right? That's not the idea here. The idea is to look at many different categories and then co-create what the outcomes are in each of those categories. and then literally, create a plan to execute on it, and then course correct and build benchmarks to measure along the way. So I think you want to find somebody that literally has the ability to do that, whether they're a formal coach or whether they're just super passionate about, coaching or mentoring somebody like you. Different strokes for different folks. What do you think?
I think that's amazing. And I know we got to wrap up, and we got to wrap up on time. So I want to give you the last word here. What would you like to share with all the folks that are here live and all the listeners?
Well, thank you, Stephen. And again, I want to give you a shout out. You are an absolute brilliant host. And I love the way you tee up these questions, because I could talk for days about this. In fact, I often do. But guys, really check in with yourself. What would it take for you to step into your highest self to finish 2020 strong? I mean, it's been a crazy year. It hasn't exactly played out the way that we all thought it would. At least, January or February went pretty well. And then, things went to hell in a handbasket for a lot of people in March till today. But you know what? The past does not dictate the future unless you live in the past. So my invitation to all of you is to check in and ask yourself, who do you need to be to finish 2020 strong? And then start dreaming again, and really start dreaming about what you really, really want to accomplish in 2021. And don't think about the how, right? The how comes after the what and the why. And if you start this now, you're literally going to get what I call the competitive edge, that come January 1st, you're going to have already started putting the intention, the vibration, and the frequency out into the universe to start bringing you the deals, the investors, the property managers, the partners, or whatever you need for success. And that would be how I want to wrap up today.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Trevor. Thank you, everyone, for showing up to invest in yourself so that you can start making the kind of changes and the kind of growth for you and your family. It was beautiful being able to serve you guys here today, and I look forward to the next time we all get to hang out. Powerful lessons. What an incredible series. So great to be able to share that with you guys. If you didn't listen to part 1 or part 2, I highly encourage you to go back, listen through from the beginning, and definitely apply some of the lessons learned. Because when you apply these, when you have a great coach, when you have a great mentor, and when you start making these changes in your life, you're going to start seeing yourself operate at the highest level in this game and start investing like the best. So thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you later. Oh, thank you for joining for another incredible episode of the Investor Mindset. It's such a joy to be able to share these beliefs, these thoughts, these ways of living with each and every one of you guys, because I just know the power that it can make. And for some of you, for the select few of those people who are truly committed to going after their goals, the people who really believe that there's another level from where they're operating right now, the people who are ready to make change happen rapidly. And even if you're somebody who is stuck, who knows what you need to do, you know exactly the strategy, but for some reason you're not doing it. For those people, there's another option. There's another level that you can reach. And what I've noticed after coaching tons and tons of people through this process is that there's a simple formula. And when you can start to understand how to unlock those pieces within yourself, you'll start to feel more vibrant. You'll start to feel more energized. You'll start to make more money, and you'll start to enjoy the process through and through. So if you're somebody who's in a position, you're ready to make change happen, you're ready to invest in yourself, you really believe that the best investment, the truest ROI is investing in yourself because it continues to give back over and over again, then I invite you to schedule a call, share a little bit about yourself, and see how we might be able to help serve you with the Investor Mindset coaching. You can head right over to investormindset.com/discovery, set up a call, and if there's an opportunity to serve, I'll be right there with you. Thank you for listening to the Investor Mindset Podcast. If you like what you heard, make sure to rate, review, subscribe, and share with a friend. Head over to theinvestormindset.com to join the Insider Club, where we share tools and strategies from the top investors and entrepreneurs on how to